I'm going to be going over a round I did with Keenan Cornelius, and we started on our feet, and it was a good warm-up and got us nice and loose, and then as we progressed it kept getting harder and harder, and we kind of fight for some positions and had a good time. Keenan's awesome as far as like he doesn't use his weight in a way where it's reckless and his size advantage on me, so he kind of takes care of me and lets me move around a lot, which is a really good thing because I don't want to have to carry another big man. So it was a fun round, so we'll get into it. And here we go. So kind of just jockeying for position lightly, and in my head I'm thinking, give up position, be able to keep things mobile and moving rather than stagnant in one position. So I like to keep my feet moving as well as Keenan's here, and fun little step over there to a little rotation where, just keeping the thing active with the scramble, a little foot sweep. Keenan's got such like noodle legs. I think I even commented a little bit there because, it's hard to kind of subdue something that's really loose. So Keenan tried a little Tai Toshi there, and I kind of made him pay with that sticker, step over sticker. Yeah, this rear body lock's hard on bigger people, so it's more just tapping my way to an off balance than trying a big move, which a lot of times I just kind of, especially because we're warming up here, just let it kind of go by rather than fight for every inch. Yeah, Keenan's got the range and kind of the length, so I like to kind of keep it mobile. There, Keenan came a little Uchimata, and it looked like I countered. We'll rewind that real quick. I want to see that again. We'll go back 15 seconds. So elbow pass to clear space. So Keenan kind of hooks in if I'm to Uchimata, and I ankle pick, and then limp arm and try and hop that corner, but Keenan was smart and kind of sat in there. Go for a little Hausinga roll or reverse omoplata, but Keenan feels it, he knows it, he goes with it. Good little like give and take here where we're just not dying on any hill, whereas, so to speak, where every position you can just keep it moving and until things start to get a little bit more tense and fight for position as the round progresses. So it's a good little prelude into moving real hard, where this is moving around each other, kind of slithering, looking for positions, keeping it mobile and agile. Yeah, Keenan's good with that little sit-up. What is that, like a octopus guard? Is that what that is? See, I don't even know the terminology sometimes. But yeah, you could just kind of sit up when I'm in side control. So I like to keep things kind of like changing levels, especially since I'm shorter and smaller. I like to hit to the left, hit to the right. Nice little throw by. Keenan got my back here. Yeah, I'm not really going to reach back and throw Keenan here, so I'm looking to just survive and feel out where it goes. Oh, so he kind of angled off for a double, and I was able to lat whip here. So I could kind of re-attack, and he feels maybe a little threat. So I still got a sprawl because the double's real. If I could get my right hand in that thigh like I did, I broke the balance, and now I'm kind of in a front head position to kind of angle off and take the corner like I did. And Keenan's got sit-throughs, so I know to bail most of the time when someone does a short sit or a sit-through or they're doing a switch. Yeah, so Keenan's playing the wrists a little bit. I would like him to change levels a little bit and use his feet more and kind of take some more chances with angles, but I'm doing me here, so I'm trying to figure out when to counter more than be super offensive. So it's a little easier for me to operate in that mode as I age. So sometimes initiating is like maybe last minute. I'll use Ashiwazas in combination like that one to break the balance here. I transition to a reverse Sankaku or kind of an inverted triangle. Yeah, I've had that dialed in since I was a kid, that transition right there. So where I'm able to kind of sense how the opening is going to present itself and how to slide my heel and knee into touching each other. So now I'm kind of playing with that far arm for Ude Garami or Kimura. And Keenan's pretty good at not letting me get that lock where I need it, so I'm not getting my knee pit with my ankle. So I have little short legs too, so I know transitioning to arm bars is a little bit more, you know, the play here. And yeah, so kind of back at it here on our feet. I think we go about 8 minutes in this round, so probably still in the first half. You know, trying to not stand right in front of Keenan is my goal sometimes, to either, you know, get hip to hip or get over to the far side even. But we're kind of still kind of loose, I feel like, here on our feet. There's not fighting to the death at all. It's more of like a flow roll with our takedowns and ground game kind of equally if we find it. There I do a little misdirection duck, just trying to find that angle. Oh, a little throw by. Little exit foot sweep, keeping Keenan guessing and kind of never on balance. So 2-on-1 little throw by, throw, shovel. It's my little Kimura here. Just trying to stay offensive, keep it moving. Probably gonna try that Sankaku again, it feels like, yeah. So my goal is to try and get my right foot behind my left knee, but it's hard because Keenan knows, so he's keeping that arm kind of down and trapping where there's no real finishes. It's tough to just pin someone and finish them, so I got to kind of work the top, and that's the hard thing. I remember this. I remember kind of like, okay, I could like mess with his arm a little here, but there's no like submission. I got to do this and come up on top, and that's hard to do and keep like pinning. So finishing is another level. I try and step over with my left and lose things. Yeah, Keenan kind of has his guard, so and here I'm kind of like okay giving up my back and just playing the whole game. Keenan's top game here is good, so I know not to get too low in his hips. I try and stay high by his head where he can't throw those hooks in, and I got a little exit kind of moves here where I swim to the head, and if I keep that head close to mine, I know his hooks are hard for him to get. So kind of playing with all that together. Oh, I went to the hands, he kind of baited me down, but I think I'm able to rotate through. Yeah, so it's just kind of staying up top with him rather than get towards his hips where he could throw those hooks in much easier. So I've been trying to work on like pinning to submitting and, you know, trying to get people to react to one movement so I could get to another one rather than like spot on and pressure submissions. So I like to float from thing to thing, maybe a little ADD-ish, but it served me right, you know. It's kind of a game where you got to be in shape to play the way I play, so I'm always kind of surface level probing rather than pressure and heavy. It wasn't always that way though, you know, as like a wrestler I'd be just heavy on top a lot of times when I get tired. Do a little foot sweep, and here I'm looking to pass, and that's a little head swim pass I've developed over the years where it's kind of like a crackdown in a high C position for wrestling, and I'm kind of setting it up on the far side so I can swing back to this near side and kind of swim my arm over and look to pin. Here Keenan's good at just locking up my arm and making it not an easy avenue to finish. So I think I have to settle here in a front headlock, and which is hard, you know, to go under hit him and try and finish a guillotine is a tough call because I know he knows those avenues. So I'm looking to kind of make it uncomfortable, kind of almost like Matt Hughes style choke on Ricardo Alameda, where I could kind of pinch my elbows and kind of look for a secondary movement, whether it's Sankaku or just taking the back here, yeah. So I know Keenan, I have respect for his guard here, so I know I can't just like walk into it. Kind of play those feet, keep it lateral movement, trying to cross, kind of grab, step over, sprawl here to make it into a wrestling fight where I could trap an arm and try and come up first, but he knows to get his head high before I do. Yeah, and that was a good little 8 minutes of, you know, starting slow and ending up kind of moving fast. If you feel like you're getting value out of these videos, make sure to like and subscribe. And now back to the video. So here's a round I did with Miha Pirhavik. We were both judges at the CJI, and I've worked with Miha, and I've trained with Miha, so it was a fun one. This was fresh after the CJI, so being inspired by the modern jiu-jitsu game was a fun little role, and I know I have to take it serious because Miha's solid and he has strong movements, and I have to respect the space that I'm in with him. So as you see, I kind of play the game of trying to be a lot more mobile and keep him chasing me almost sometimes. So there's like stalling movements and tactics that I've developed over the years to have disengages where we disengage from each other in a way where I'm kind of angling off and making him chase me. But yeah, it was really good, and let's take a look. So here we go. We're just starting off. I think we share a few words about the recent CJI and good times, and I think we're kind of on with it here. We're kind of same thing, kind of feeling out cadence of first grips rather than clubbing and headbutting. It's more of just let's figure out how we make connections, and we'll be a little civilized from there on out. Yeah, I'm kind of like playing a little bits of space game just to start, because I know we got 4 or 5 minutes here, so I'm not trying to rush to the big connections. Kind of playing possum, at least in the beginning, until I can find my move. Here I got a little shovel, 2-on-1. And this quad pod is tiring, to be honest. I think I remember during this 15-20 second exchange here where he's quad podded and I'm body locked, how I'm going to finish this without letting go. That's a tough one, because that's like a big energy output for me. Having to angle and circle and corkscrew and trying to get a base out knockdown where I get into an elbow or a knee. So there's other things I could have done, but if it was later in the round, I probably would have. But I know that like switching over to a spiral ride or trying to throw a hook in recklessly, I could pay for it. So I wanted to keep things a little more conservative initially. And here he kind of runs into a double leg defense from me where I'm able to sprawl and get his head on the wrong side. And here's just a funk roll scramble out of me where I kind of know where to go towards the legs rather than stay towards the head. And this is just like a basic wrestling, modern day folk style chain of events that I was able to kind of capitalize for a pin here. Kind of like a modified north-south. Just kind of looking for more control. I have a little finish here where I kind of scorpion death lock, but I wasn't really willing to take that shot to like go for the kill shot right away. I think I just wanted to kind of feel out these pins and see if there's another easier, like here I like to go triangle, but I knew he knew, because he knows. So he's tying up my right hand pretty well, and we're wrist control fighting rather than me being able to get it by so I could swing my leg over and arch into a triangle. So I'm just kind of like staying in control positions where, looking back, I probably should have taken some risks, but I know that I have more rounds in the future, and I know I'm tired from my last one, so it's a lot harder and easier to say, and I know that as an ex-competitor, and now as an official and a judge, kind of what I expect out of competitors and what is realistic. So here I'm playing, I was playing guard, I'm looking to pass, I'm fighting those feet, and I like to make these exchanges into more wrestling exchanges where I don't have to deal with his legs. So a lot of times I circle and I kind of hip sprawl, hip heist forward into their legs to kind of flatten them and to look to pin. But here, Miha's got me in full guard here, and I'm looking to double underpass, but I know he's heavy, and I know I'm just kind of killing a little time, kind of feeling his prowess here, so to speak, just before I look to pass. I'm not looking to strength in anything, so I'm kind of just staying parallel and keeping the hand he's trying to mess with high and straight, so it's not putting too much pressure on anything. But as all things, I'm not trying to stall. So here I'm looking to step over and pass and fight that bottom foot. Miha's good with his guard retention, so I have to kind of settle back into his guard and stand back up and do my little possum thing where I make some space, get him to come to me, kind of play that game a little bit where I'm not trying to use, so I was able to kind of connect. Let's go back there a second. So kind of looking at Miha's guard, I'm trying to make those connections on his feet and to try and even cross grip right there. So I'm able to get under that far leg to kind of like get to the center of his core underneath his knees and elbows in between them. So here I knew I'm kind of SOL right there. I kind of, if you pause and go back a second here. he has a single leg and I'm sprawling and I'm circling to almost long step pass around so I could pin him. He traps my arm, really smart here, in a way that neutralizes me, and he kind of makes me make a decision, and I feel like I made the wrong decision. I should have thrown my right hook in and played like a vine ride, like a cross body leg ride with my right hook in, and to have like looking for like maybe a guillotine, wrestling guillotine, or a twister, or even like a banana split with my right hook in. But because he had my arm trapped here, so I'm paused when he has that single and I'm sprawling around, and right here he traps my arm, and right there I kind of like make a little face, I nod, and I'm like, dang, I should have thrown my right hook in and tried a cross body ride. But Mihal's smart, he knew, I knew, he knew, and here he is with my back. So I think I got a glance at the clock at this point and playing that, like, you know, the guy I hate to coach, but I looked at the clock and I saw that there's like 15 seconds or 20 seconds, so I'm not really, wasn't really too worried to just kind of play those hands a little and kind of rest maybe even, because I knew all the work that I'd done took its toll on me. But yeah, I have a good poker face. So let's go on to the next one. Thank you, Miha. So here's a fun round I did with Max Schneider. It was the third round of that kind of live goes that I did. So Max is around my size. So thankfully, I could take into account the gravity and weight of literally what he does and how I could configure my movements. Rather than like kind of going around someone, I could look to, you know, go through a little more, and I could take a little bigger chances. Where sometimes I don't take those bigger movements and chances when I'm going with someone bigger than me, just because of the ramifications. So I'm kind of thinking ahead a little more than in the present. With Max, I'm thinking a little more in the present, because you got to kind of do all those things right or I'll make you pay. So one judoka, great wrestler, great judoka, great jujitsuka, kind of rolls it all together really well, and he's working those leg lock game too. So he could count on that extra layer that I don't really possess. So let's take a look. As you can see, I'm sweaty and tired. I use that as my initial excuse before rounds start in case they go bad. Here I do a little arm drag. So with Max a little bit, you know, he's okay giving up a lot of big positions where a lot of people would fight every tooth and nail for these positions that they're acquiring, where he's okay to kind of pull a rabbit out of the hat, so to speak, at the end and kind of set traps. So I'm cognizant of that, and I know that we do this a lot. So just kind of trying to jockey for position a little bit, and Max has his little interesting shuffles he does that I try not to, like, you know, give too much credence to as far as when I'm in these exchanges to attack during those movements, because I know he's kind of light and baiting. So a lot of times I stay to like my core structure of some of the foundational stuff. So here I heal myself once, I heal myself twice. I'm trying to do a little hook step over, like a stretchy, and I gave myself pretty bad bone bruises. Here, a nice little Uchimata, and I know Max tried to over flip it so he could roll through and keep the scramble alive, kind of like where we ended up, but maybe he was a little late on it, and I kind of knew to settle. So I still count that as an Ippon in my book, so even though Max tried to overdo it, I score one in my head, especially now as a judge. What I see and what my output was. So here I'm in a little kind of deep half, or Max is trying to maybe use that to his advantage, and I know that because I got to respect his movements here. So I'm trying to inch my way through things rather than fly through things. So I'm okay letting him feel my weight, because we're about even in weight. So like with some of the bigger guys, it's hard to like make them feel my weight. So I kind of got to like jab in and out and be like a gnat. Whereas in this case, I can kind of settle into things, and it can be a little bit more conventional, so to speak. Looks like I'm trying to move more towards a mount than trying to pass off to like Yoko to side control. So, so just kind of settle in and kind of smother Max a little bit without being too technical. And I know Max in the past has kind of reached over for some quick kimuras in these positions, so I'm kind of aware of that. I'm just in his armpits trying to like separate some space. And I know in my head sometimes I could connect on Max's feet well enough to pass. So I kind of play that route a lot where, and if I turn it into a wrestling scramble, it's more like maybe a 50-50 chance where I win those, where there's an action. So with Max, that is. So sometimes in scrambles, he's able to kind of connect those dots quicker than me because he is 13 years younger. So a lot of times when I want to go at my pace to win, it'll be more like this rather than a lot of flurries. So I kind of old man him, so to speak. Like I've been old man plenty of times where I had coaches in wrestling that would be able to just like over time just wear on me, and it wasn't super technical or explosive. So it's just, you know, age and kind of understanding where to be with your weight. So here I did a nice little, let's go back on that one. So I kind of like developed a way where if I know I can't step over an amount, I'm going to step in front, and then I'm going to take the far side and do a long step pass, and then try and take the back or pin based on if he grabs my leg. And here I'm looking to take the back. Throw those hooks in, and kind of here it looks like I'm going to try and mount and get higher on the mount and make him feel my weight with my shoulder. I know it's like the dark side of jiu-jitsu that, you know, some people either love or hate. So here I move off to the side. I remember slipping off that arm, but I had my knees pinched, so I think that's a good like fundamental rule. Sometimes if you cross your feet, your knees bow outwards and you lose an arm. If you lose an arm, it's hard to keep it together rather than pinching those knees. And like, even though I slipped off, I was able to kind of keep his elbow above my knee line. I was able to get that second effort arm bar. So here I feel Max is a little tired, but sometimes he plays that game, kind of like, you know, the drunken master where he's like heavy-footed, looks like he's a little disheveled, and then he'll throw out a crazy explosive athletic movement in the exchange where you never would have felt it coming. So I respect it, and I kind of know. Here I'm kind of heavy on his head, just kind of hand fighting, doing all the little things, trying to balance break. Sometimes I get a little more energy, I think, when I feel someone's tired. So that's just that killer instinct in me that just will never die. You know, I won't do that to many people, but when I'm going around, that's, you know, at this level, I kind of want to win where I can without being like, you know, doing anything illegal or injure my opponent or partner. So it's just a lot of nice shot, Max. See, Max still has it in him. Yeah, over under with Max is dangerous. Sometimes he can win these. Even there. Yeah, I'm just kind of doing my thing here. I knew time was near the end, I think, and I just wanted to finish strong because I knew I probably wasn't going another round. So even though Keenan had asked. So I know in my head that I wanted to end strong. Yeah, so as I continue to age, I think this last round as a kind of a placeholder of how I'd like to conduct my live goes with people my size, where, you know, I'm kind of edging out and I'm winning in the positions I need to get to the successful outcomes. Whereas sometimes, you know, Keenan, he's playing a game with me where I can feel like I'm going to be safe. I know he's not going to like thrust his weight upon my knee joint or leg or sit or do anything that's going to be conducive to an injury, right? So, and I trust that, and same with the Miha. So those rounds are a little harder to like qualify as like, well, you know, they're going live, because I know that I have a disadvantage in the size space. So I know that they respect that and they don't want to try and hurt me or use that against me in a way where it's like, you know, something that they won't be proud of later. So I respect that, and I really am appreciative of that. So those are the 3 rounds I did. Just coming back from CJI, kind of try and do this more often. So hope you enjoyed it.